Can't have everything, I guess. Can't have anything if you keep stumbling around looking like you ought to be admitted to the hospital instead of treating patients. Call your sister, she said, lapsing into her old tendency to issue orders. Have Annie stay over for a couple nights, and have her get up with Lily if you need her to, while you take something so you can get some real rest for once. I'm late for work, Christina told her, too on edge to deal with the unsolicited advice. Especially the advice to lean on the same sister whose seemingly miraculous resuscitation had planted the seed for med school in Christina's own mind long ago. You know, where people worry more about whether I can stitch 'em up or get their kid to stop projectile vomiting than how recently I've tweezed my eyebrows. Renee winced at the sharpness, hurt blooming in her blue-gray eyes. You're right, of course. Don't mind me. I'm just worried, that's all. Christina stared at her, uncomfortably reminded of how much her friend needed the babysitting money since she'd lost her teaching job not long after her divorce. Her divorce from a man Christina still regretted not warning her about. I'm not mad, Renee. How could I be? Grabbing her tote and cup, she offered a one-armed hug. You're a real lifesaver coming over. Have any trouble with this snow? Renee shook her head. Main roads are all plowed. She shrugged. And anyway, I've got the Jeep. The one good thing Harris left me. Hiding her discomfort at the mention of Harris Bowers, Christina nodded toward Jacob's sleeping form. Not the only good thing. He really was a great kid, smart, sweet-tempered, and compliant, where Lily was a live wire, to put it mildly. But then Renee was such a natural in the mothering department, her self-assurance the polar opposite of Christina's awkward efforts. Soon she was on the road, driving the sleek black Mercedes she suspected she would always think of as Doug's car. Though she'd never thought of herself as a luxury sedan type, the comfort of its heated leather embrace felt like the only thing keeping her from tears that icy morning. Tears that threatened to overwhelm her as she allowed herself to consider that last night's dream might have had a darker explanation. That if Doug were here, he would remind her that this wasn't the first time she'd heard voices, after all. That night, Christina lay in bed, awake for hours, though her body was aching with exhaustion. Cocooned within a silence so absolute it felt like death, she found herself trapped with her regrets, her doubts, and the bone-deep need to hear the rumble of her husband's snores beside her. When he was alive, it had driven her crazy. The sheer volume, with the stops and sputters she'd warned him many times, indicated that he should be evaluated for sleep apnea, especially considering his family history of early heart disease. On at least 3 occasions that she could recall, he'd set up an appointment, only to cancel when some emergency reshuffled his busy surgical schedule. She wondered now, as she had so often, whether he would still be alive if she'd forced the issue, or whether he would have at least reconsidered the wisdom of swimming a damn lake without a word to her or anybody in preparation for the triathlon he'd planned to enter. Of swimming so far from the shore that, once the chest pains had started, there could be no swimming back. A lump formed in her throat as anger, like a red-hot coal, burned its way through her flesh. You were supposed to be here for us, supposed to help me raise our daughter, to keep her safe in case it ever happened again. Feeling like the worst person on earth for being angry with a man she would have given anything to bring back, she climbed from the bed to take one of the nighttime pain relievers she'd been trying to wean herself off. From experience, she knew it would make waking up in a few hours like a slog through hardening concrete, but a little sleep beat none at all.